guys. It's our Thanksgiving matinee show.
Yeah. Why didn't we do this one on Thanksgiving?
Because I'm going to eat on Thanksgiving. Okay. We don't usually stream on Thanksgiving Day. It's like I kind of wanted a day off. Okay, you know what I mean? Yeah. I thought that would have been nice.
Yes, that's good. Yeah.
But, and honestly, and I actually recorded a review of Pilgrim, the Hulu Into the Dark Thanksgiving movie that I'm going to put up on Thanksgiving. Okay. But it's just,
I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, I didn't. Like I said, I wanted a day off. I didn't necessarily want to have to stream on the holiday because I figured people wouldn't be watching it anyway.
Okay.
Somebody, Danny Rolling Ghostface said about Blood Rage. Yeah, that's another one we have to do, and I think Shudder just added that one. We might have to wait till next Thanksgiving though, unless we could do like an extra one.
We're doing 2 movies today.
Yeah, Thankskilling. So David June sent us this. It was like it's a little box set.
Yeah.
And it has the first one, and it has Thankskilling 3, which you would think is the third one, but it's actually the sequel.
Yeah, they're always fucking spending the whole time looking for fucking part 2.
Yeah, we'll kind of get into that. But yeah, so David June also wanted me to mention that his sister, Crystal, was a producer on the third one.
Okay, yeah. It was a good movie. It was actually... It scaled up quite nicely. It's not the same kind of movie. It's very different, but it's still good. It's an acid trip.
I would even argue that the second one that's called Thankskilling 3 is like not even really a horror movie. It's barely a horror movie.
No, yeah.
It's almost kind of like a weird... It's kind of like something you'd see on Adult Swim and that you would kind of like get high and watch. Yeah. And it's also a little bit of a Jim Henson type parody. Like kind of like The Dark Crystal or Labyrinth or something. Yeah, with
Fraggle Rock mixed in with it. There was some...
It's pretty weird, you guys.
There's some gore in there and some stuff that's, with the turkeys, it's a fucking trip. It got so convoluted, the second one, or part 3, which is the second one. I had a hard time keeping track of it. You'd have to watch this 2 or 3 times, I think, to catch everything.
Yeah, I mean, like, if I actually said, like, what the plot was, which I probably will at some point, I think people would think that I was making it up. But I'm not.
It's all kinds of
totally
shit.
Not making it up.
Let's start off with the first one, then.
Yeah, the first one came out in 2008. And very proudly, they put it right on the front of the DVD and everything. Yeah. That this cost $3,500 to make.
Yeah, and it said tits within the first 10.
In the first second.
First second, yeah, exactly.
And it says right there, warning, boobs in the first second. Yeah. It says tits in the first second.
It has she's a retired porn star in there now. She was...
Wanda Lust.
Wanda Lust, yeah. She just starts off with her in a pilgrim costume with her titties fucking hanging out, just running, and she's being chased by something, and she turns around and you see it's a big old fucking... It's not even a big old turkey, it's just a turkey with a hatchet. Kills her, and you go, nice tits, bitch. Kills her. And it's got real fucking... the humor in it is good. It's funny. It's fun.
It kind of like... I feel like it sort of straddles the line between self-awareness and also being... Like, the humor is kind of, like, obnoxious and, like, punny. Yeah. But... because they're kind of aware of it and they're kind of making fun of it, it's kind of, like I said, it's really, really hard to, like, do a bad movie on purpose. Yeah. And I think this one, like, mostly succeeds. I mean, some of the humor falls flat, but I think it, like, kind of meant to.
It took a while for the movie to kind of spool up.
Yeah.
It started off with the bang, some titties, like what you're going to do with the and then it takes a while for it to kind of catch its stride. Then it starts doing some shit that's fucking hilarious, like between the 2 friends and the second dude dies and his first friend is fucking pulling him up to heaven. There ain't no turkeys up here. Just
okay, now that shit was funny.
Shit was fucking hilarious. It was good. I liked it. It is entertaining. Let's say it's not good. It's entertaining,
it wasn't meant to be good.
It wasn't meant to be good. Yeah,
considering it only cost $3,500.
Yeah.
It doesn't look too bad for being $3,500, and some of the gore effects and stuff like that are actually pretty good.
I don't think I could do that for $3,500.
I don't think I could either, to be honest with you. Like I said, I'm not like a special effects person or a particularly competent camera person.
Yeah.
But I mean, not bad for $3,500. And like I said, if you don't have a lot of money, then this is probably the route that you want to go, where you just kind of have to make it like funny, gory, lots of nudity, shit like that, and a ridiculous premise. Yeah. Just lean into it, and that's what they did. And also, like I said, it's kind of making fun of itself too, because it's essentially a slasher movie about a killer turkey that can talk. And there's a backstory behind it, which is told in like a nice little animation sequence of, I guess it was like a Native American shaman, and he was like pissed off at being disrespected by a white dude. So all of the like white people subsequently are now kind of like cursed. Like the turkey's gonna come back every 505 years to fuck with everybody, even though the beginning part with the titty pilgrim. Yeah. Titty pilgrim. Yeah. That's my new way to put it. That's my throwback Riot Girl band.
That's gonna be your name.
What's gonna be your name? Titty pilgrim.
Jenny Ash for titty pilgrim. Come over here, titty pilgrim.
Oh my god.
If we go to the biker bar, I'm gonna call you that.
Titty pilgrim. But yeah, so the first part with Titty Pilgrim took place in 1621, quote unquote, the olden days. Yeah. But then the turkey's supposed to come back every 505 years. 505 years would be 2,125. So they can't math, but that's okay. Maybe that was like part of the joke. I'm not really sure. Like I said, it's kind of hard to say. But yeah, so you have that, and then it jumps ahead, and then you have like 5 really stereotypical kind of like, you know what I mean? There's like the jock, there's the nice girl, there's the slutty girl, the fat party animal, and the nerd. Yeah. So you have those 5 types who in real life would never hang out together, but they do that in horror movies all the time, so that's what they're lampooning. And they're going home for Thanksgiving, and then their car breaks down, of course, and now they're like trapped in the woods, and they're just going to party in the woods. Woo, it's Thanksgiving break. And so they're camping out in the woods right where this supposed thing happened with the turkey. The killer turkey, whose name is just Turkey.
Yeah, I can't believe we're talking about this fucking...
Well, what are we going to do? Just like sit here and die?
Saying, we're talking about it. No, I think it's funny. It's just funny. No, I'm not saying don't talk about it.
I'm just going to sit here in silence.
I can't believe we're talking about it because I saw these movies and then...
But that's the fun, talking about the movies. Yeah. So what happens in this movie? There's all kind of crazy shit happens in this movie. There is, let's see, there's a guy who inexplicably, when Turkey, because that's just his name, but I think it's Turkie. That's his name, is Turkey, with an IE instead of an EY. So he's trying to get into town to kill the kids or their parents or whatever. I don't know what he's doing. He's just killing everybody. And he's like hitchhiking or something, or he's just like on the side of the road, and this random dude just stops the car to pick him up.
That was great.
And he's basically like a turkey, and he's just like not like, oh my god, a talking turkey. He's just like, ooh, hot, a talking turkey. And then he gets in the car and he's just gonna fuck the turkey.
No, well, he says no. He stops.
Oh, ass, gas, or grass.
Yeah, he goes ass, gas, or grass. So he asks, and the fucking turkey gets in and doesn't answer. But the fucking dude's just looking at the turkey like, I'm gonna fuck this turkey.
Well, he starts unbuttoning his pants.
Yeah. It's just fucking funny.
He's gonna fucking...
And that turkey fucking blows his head off with a shotgun. The turkey does stuff it's never explained. How could the turkey this big carry a shotgun, a full-length shotgun?
He's a magical turkey.
What's he holding it with? You don't ever really see it, and that's part of the.
He's a magical
beauty
turkey.
Of the movie.
He's a shaman made him.
How does a damn turkey hit you with an axe? It's not explained. It just happens.
Yeah.
It just happens. So
how does the turkey talk?
You're right. It's all just the brilliance of the movie. How does a turkey cut somebody's face off and put it on its face and fool everybody?
That was my favorite part, actually.
Even fool the daughter. She thought that was her dad.
That was my favorite part.
Yeah, there's all kinds of ridiculous shit happening.
Well, that whole sequence, because the nice girl's dad is the sheriff. Yeah. That guy's hilarious too. Like he has a fake mustache on, and he's just like doing this over the top Southern accent, and it's hilarious. And even before like any of the turkey shenanigans, he's having a fight with like his wife, who I presume is his second wife because he calls her the stepmom later. Who he takes a sip of the coffee and he spits it out. He's like, "This coffee tastes like shit. What'd you do? Take a dump in the pot?" And then she's like, "Yeah, I did. I want a divorce."
Yeah, you can see it in there.
And then he's like, says to the phone, "Well, your stepmom left. See ya." You know what I mean? It's just it's that kind of thing. Right. And then like Turkey comes to the door, And he thinks that it's a midget because the turkey can talk. And so the turkey is like saying that he's friends with the daughter. And he just said, oh, I didn't know that she had a friend that was a midget or whatever. Come on in. And he's also inexplicably in a turkey costume. Yeah. I can't remember why he has a turkey costume on. Did it have something I don't remember. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
But he's in a turkey costume.
Yeah.
And then, so Turkey kills the dad and takes off his face and wears his face. And obviously, even though this is a turkey-sized turkey, wearing a person's face that is really, really small.
Yeah.
He comes to the door and talks his way in and talks to like their dad, and everyone's just kind of like, he's like, you look kind of different, Dad. Oh, you cut your hair. Yeah. It's just like.
Yeah.
That was my favorite. That was actually, I don't know if that was maybe that was my second favorite part, because my actual favorite part is when the fat guy gets killed by eating like a cartoon turkey, which is somehow magically also turkey.
Yeah, he comes out of there
and he shoots his way out of his stomach. And then like when he dies, like him and the nerd, who I guess were like best friends, like, and then there's this big long montage of like their friend with like them eating ice cream and skipping through a field holding hands and stuff like that. And then the fat guy's like in heaven, like it's like so fucking funny. Like later on, and they kind of like they kind of go back to that like in the sequel as well, like that whole every character that's in heaven like saying for the other characters to like come join them in heaven is just like really, really funny. I thought that was like actually a nice touch.
Yeah. That's probably, that probably wraps up the first movie then, right?
I'm trying to think if there's like something else that I wanted to like say about it. Like I said, it's pretty much, it's a ridiculous, it's a bad movie, but it knows it's bad.
Yeah.
Also there's like, I couldn't, but it's the kind of bad where you're not really sure if they meant that to be bad or funny on purpose or not. You know what I mean? Like although the main example is that JonBenet Ramsey joke.
Yeah.
That character made one time.
They did.
And then she made it another time.
And then they fucked it up.
And then like somebody else tried to say the same thing but fucked it up, and so like nobody laughed. And I was like, well, did they just like make that joke twice and like forget to edit the other one out, or was that the joke that it was like? I think that was the joke. I think that was the joke. That they made the joke like 3 times.
Here's my take on it. It's kind of like Velociraptor. All right.
Velocipaster,
excuse me. Yeah. They're going for that kind of tone. There are flashes of brilliance in this movie. Some of the shit's fucking really funny. Other stuff doesn't quite land. It's like the quality is a little bit uneven. Some shit, but like they're bragging that they did it for $3,500. So they didn't have much money.
Thank you, camp guy.
It needed to be, some things needed to be kind of like tweaked and reshot and re-edited so it was uniformly funny throughout the entire goddamn thing, which is what you had.
And it's short. It's only like an hour long. Right. What is it even like 90 minutes?
Velocipaster beats it because Velocipaster is fucking uniformly fucking funny through the whole goddamn thing. Okay? And very witty. A lot of the shit that Velocipaster does is just due to the writing and the way they filmed it. Okay? This does it. That same thing, but maybe only about half the time.
Yeah, it's like spottier.
It's spottier, okay? But I commend it, you know what I mean? It was an entertaining movie. I watched through the whole thing. I was laughing, okay? I liked the characters. Fucking there were certain scenes that stood out. My time wasn't wasted, and they got their fucking $3,500 worth.
Although Oscar Perez said, "Why do you guys waste your time with this junk?" Because it's funny.
It was funny.
It's entertaining.
It was funny.
This wasn't as funny as Velocipaster.
No.
Like I said, it was much spottier, but it did have its moments.
Perez, man, fucking watch Velocipaster. That bitch is a fucking masterpiece. And you just gotta see it. You'll understand it.
I mean, that's the thing. I like all kind of movies. Yeah. I like real highbrow, farty movies, and I like really stupid, bad movies. If they're bad in a particular way. If it's bad and it's just boring,
they have to know what they're doing.
Then I'm not, I'm not on board with it. But it's honestly, I think you learn more about filmmaking watching bad movies than you do good ones.
Yeah, because you see what not to do.
To be honest with you, so you're like, oh yeah, I need to avoid that problem there.
And then you'll run across movies that just have no money in them at all, but they're fucking great. and you have to figure out why is that thing great.
Yeah.
Okay. The Thankskilling, the first one, is about half there. It's half great. The other part of it is just not bad, but the other half is okay. You know what I mean? But had they tightened the edit up, got some of the script and some of the scenes a little bit right, maybe rewritten it a little in a couple little places and reshot it again, it could have been up there with fucking Velocipaster, but it has to uniformly be hilarious through every scene. And this wasn't hilarious in every scene. It might have been funny, but not hilarious.
And it did have some shit that was hilarious. Because, like I said, the whole part with, like, the turkey wearing the dad's face and, like, everyone just, like, pretending that that was her dad. I mean, that was, like, pretty funny.
That dude dying and him seeing his fat boyfriend. Come on up here, man. Come on, man. Come up to heaven, man. There's no turkeys up here, man. That shit is like, I was fucking rolling.
That was pretty funny. Yeah, I have to admit.
That was a good one.
But yeah, and we forgot to say too that Turkey rapes a chick at one point. He rapes the slutty chick.
Yeah, that was good. That was good too. I thought it was funny. It wasn't hilarious, but it was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing where them with the guy like pulling over and wanting to like have sex with the turkey, that was also pretty funny.
So you know, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. They spent $3,500. They made an entertaining movie that half the time was fucking funny, real funny, hilarious.
Oh, and also in 2013 they did a musical version of this because of course they did.
Yeah.
And it actually showed at the Orlando Fringe Festival.
Okay.
But you know, obviously I didn't see it.
Okay, now the second one. All right, the second one, when it starts off, first of all, production value is fucking way higher.
Well, the second one, they actually really raised money on Kickstarter, and they got like I think $112,000. Okay.
It looks good, especially in the beginning. You're like, what the fuck is going on? And they've kind of opened the scope up into outer space and fucking. They had some good outer space scenes with the fucking turkey and a spaceship fighting an alien or talking to an alien, and then they got. You know, fucking dudes cleaning out toxic waste trucks, and they're all in their fucking biohazard gear, and then you're going into Turkey's home with his wife, and he's kind of retired because they got a 2 is not going to be released. And he's pissed, and
they got a kid named Nibla.
They got a kid, and he murders his turkey wife, and gets his kid to fucking agree with it and weird shit, and then they go and then the kid dies, and just it gets weirder and weirder, and then you find a fucking Fraggle, this fucking cute little Fraggle girl living in a dumpster because she lost her mind, and just crazy shit, you know what I mean?
This is remember
talking to a dude in a wig who's dressed up like fucking like Thomas Jefferson, and it gets more and more bizarre, you know. It involves other dimensions and aliens and turkey, and
this one is
drugs too. It got to be, and then it has commercials.
Batshit crazy.
It has commercials.
This is batshit crazy.
It has commercials in the movie. They're fucking funny. Some of the commercials. Remember, it had a couple commercials.
Well, the guy in the wig, who's one of the only human characters. Most of the rest are puppets, but he's Uncle Donnie, and he has invented something called the Pluckmaster 3000, right? Yeah. And it's something that kills the turkey, plucks the turkey, stuffs the turkey, and cooks the turkey, like all in one
like 30 seconds, I think, right?
Does it 30 seconds, that's right. Yeah. But yeah, so there's that whole thing. So why there isn't a Thanksgiving or Thankskilling 2 is in the context of Thankskilling 3. You have, at the very beginning, they show like this little, because at the end of Thankskilling, the first one, there's like a little coda where there's all these family, who I presume is like the director and his family. I'm thinking that's who it was. And they're having Thanksgiving dinner, and then the cooked turkey comes to life, and Turkey's voice says, "I smell a sequel," and then flies at the camera. And then it says, coming soon, like Thankskilling in space. So there's a little preview where there's like this really, really cheap ass looking sci-fi like thing where it's puppets and all the ships are like made of turkey basters, right? And so there's that, and it looks like super, super cheap. And then there's like a meta thing where Thankskilling 2 was made, but it was so terrible that it's never going to be released. So part of the plot, although not the main plot, part of the plot of Thankskilling 3 is actually, because all of the copies of Thankskilling 2 have been destroyed in this world. Like I said, there's kind of like there's somebody with a dump truck and there's like toxic waste type shit. And then so Turkey is trying to find the last remaining copy of Thankskilling 2, and he's going to show it to everybody in the universe. Right? Yeah. Or just everybody on Earth. I can't remember. Oh, man, he's just going to he's going to like hook it up to it's very complicated. Yeah. And he's going to hook it up and show it to everybody. It's going to like end the world or something like that because it's like the worst movie ever. So there's actually 2 intertwining plots which you really kind of have to this is like the craziest shit ever.
Yeah, I think a lot of the shit they're making up as they go along.
Yeah, well, I think the thing is because they had the turkey puppet and apparently like whoever like the crew that's working on this movie are really into puppetry. So most of the characters in Thankskilling 3 are puppets. It's like a kind of a cheap puppet thing. And there's only a couple of human characters. So you have this whole thing where the only remaining copy of Thankskilling 2 ends up in this dumpster. And there's also the dumpster, there's a puppet in there of like trash that's alive. Kind of like Madame Trash Heap from Fraggle Rock, if you guys remember that. Except he's kind of like a bag. And the puppet that's in there, what's her name? Yomi?
Yeah, Yomi, yeah.
She's like a little Fraggle type character. And she can't find her mind for some reason.
Yeah,
like
never explained.
Her little puppet mind with its little brain with arms going, bye, I'm going away. It's that kind of thing. So like I said, just, all right, big time. So there's like some serious like hallucinogens involved in this.
Yeah, this is a movie you should probably be high or something when you see it. It looks good though, and it looks like something out of a Jim Henson movie.
Jim Henson, it's definitely
it's
spoofing on some Jim Henson stuff because there was like some scenes in there that were very much like Labyrinth or The Dark Crystal. Maybe they got that idea because Turkey, the puppet from the first movie, who's also in the second one, kind of looks like a Skeksis. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I kind of feel like so this has a very much like Jim Henson vibe to it. Yeah. But so this puppet has the last remaining copy, even though she doesn't really know what it is, and she puts it in her little backpack, which by the way has a cartoon cat character on it that pops off at one point, and then there's like some weird animation, like a kids show for a second, and that never returns. So okay, there's that. And then she meets the human character, Uncle Donnie, who's like a pitchman who's invented the Pluckmaster 3000, and he's dressed like colonial America all the time, like with the powdered wig like you have and shit like that. And also, he lives with his friend who is also dresses like a colonial person all the time and has a grandmother. Is that his grandmother or his mom? I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's also a puppet. And it is the grossest fucking shit ever. It's like a grandma.
It's his mom.
Yeah, they call her grandma, though. She's like really old. I don't really remember, but it doesn't matter. But it's a puppet who is also... It's like a grandma who is also a rapper.
And she's fucking talking about sucking dick all the time and fucking everything.
And she's always like, she's like putting her...
Smelling her fingers and shit.
Like sticking her fingers in her cooch and smelling them and stuff like that. It's pretty disgusting.
Yeah, pretty disgusting.
And she's always like rapping, and that's all she ever talks about. And she kind of explains how that happens. Like all of her cable got shut off in the 90s except for BET. Okay. Is that what it was? I think I think they kind of mentioned that. So she's always... rapping, and all her raps are like completely gross because she's like totally a hoe too. And if you stay like past the credits, there's also I can't remember what her name was. Flois, I think that was her name. And if you stay, there's like a music video, and there's a really, really disgusting scene where she's talking about fucking a dude and like pulling her diaper aside and stuff like that. It's pretty gross. I'm just telling you right now. But yeah, so there's that. So those people are kind of like involved with finding the DVD, but also trying to look for this little puppet's mind. And then at some point, the only remaining copy of Thankskilling 2 gets possessed by Nibla, who is Turkey's son, who he's trying to make evil, but then he dies, but then he like takes his soul somewhere.
It's very convoluted. You can't,
it's like honestly, I would recommend watching this while high, but not while drunk, because you will not be able to keep track of what the fuck is going on.
Right.
It's just like really complicated. Oh, and I forgot to mention the giant robot Muff and the little worm.
Yeah,
the little bisexual worm, Rhonda.
That's on his
with a little mustache and little googly eyes, who like controls Muff, but also they're like boyfriends. I don't like, or something. Yeah, they're like in love, I guess. I don't really know. And they're from space. Oh, and also Muff, the robot, can make a vortex out of his butt.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh, and also Turkey and Rhonda, the worm, had sex at some point, like while Turkey was on the moon.
Yeah, I forgot about that too.
I don't really know.
This is all stuff that was made up.
You think I'm making this up? I am totally not making this up.
They made this up in the moment and fucking edited it together into basically kind of like a long form hallucination. There's a lot of special effects in it and everything, Yeah. It is a trip to watch. I gotta say, I didn't like it as much as the first one. I think the first one was just more pure and more simple and crazy. Yeah, I mean, the first one was basically just like a slasher about a talking, wisecracking killer turkey. Yeah, and it was kind of easier to understand. Yeah, the second one, Thankskilling 3, I was just kind of like the whole time, like it's funny, but you're like, what the fuck am I watching? Yeah. The tone kind of changed, too. It's almost kind of like MST 3000, the Netflix version. Not really the movies that they're watching, but like the stuff happening in between. Yeah, it's like that.
It's almost like a parody of a kids show.
Yeah.
And then it almost seems to me, and I think you said this while we were watching it, because we were pretty sober when we were watching this, right? We weren't drunk. Yeah. I don't think we drank. Well, I don't think we drank while we were watching, which is a good thing, because like I said, I would have had no idea what the fuck was going on. But so what it was I think that maybe, like I said, you had like a bunch of puppeteers on the crew, and they had made a bunch of puppets that didn't have anything to do with one another, and that they wanted to make like a parody of a kids show, like something, like I said, something for Adult Swim or something like real surreal like that. Yeah. That like stoner guys in their 20s would watch. Yeah. I kind of feel like they had that kind of thing going, but they're like, well, maybe we should make that a sequel to Thankskilling.
Yeah, it's like it was shoehorned into this project.
Maybe. Well, maybe not, because the first Thankskilling, they did say, like, Thanksgiving in space, like, at the end. Like, you know what I mean? So maybe they kind of knew where they were going with it.
The space angle was fucking shoehorned in there, too. They weren't in space for a few minutes at the very beginning.
That's true. And there was stuff from space, like... And then it turns out that the Fraggle... I keep calling her the Fraggle. Yomi, the one whose mind was gone, it turns out she was an alien too, right? Or an interdimensional being or something. I don't really know. But she was also a puppet. Yeah. Because the
puppets
premise...
were based on...
Puppets on Earth were based on actual beings from another planet or another dimension that were kind of like...
trippy nonsense.
So she dies at some point, but then like you could like bring her back by sticking your hand up her butt. You know what I mean? Like you would a puppet. Like, because she was a puppet.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I can't imagine anyone in the history of ever being as high as the people that wrote this, people that wrote this movie, as high as they were when they wrote this movie. Because this, the whole time, and I'm just like, I think it's some weird shit, okay? But it's just kind of like, this, I really, really am not sure what to say. And it's barely a horror movie. It's kind of more, I don't even know what I'd call it. This kind of like reminded me of, it had horror elements, because didn't that one colonial guy, he got like cut into pieces, which was actually like a pretty cool like effect that looked really good. But it's not anything like the first one. No. It is just like a surreal.
It's a trip movie.
Yeah, like a surreal puppet show of kind of like, that you would watch it on acid maybe. Yeah. Although maybe don't, because I don't know. I don't
think you'd understand it.
I don't know what kind of like weird flashbacks you have from that. It's just kind of like, I don't know, man. In a way, I kind of like salute the people that made it, because I'm like, I can't believe that they fucking actually thought of this shit.
I think of course, they crowdsourced it, so it was done for the fans. Yeah. It's plenty long. They're giving you everything, they're giving you a lot for your money. They're showing you a lot of different stuff. I don't know what the fan reaction was. Maybe they liked it. I liked the first one better. Just because of the purity of it. This one here, The production value is a lot higher. The special effects were quite good. The visuals were really good.
Yeah, it almost kind of had some like weird like new retro wave kind of like videos and stuff inserted in there.
Yeah, so I actually appreciated it. It's just the story and that kind of humor. It just I didn't really get it that much. You know, I maybe have to see it again. I don't know.
Yeah, like, I mean, I could probably like sit through it again.
It's a cult movie, definitely.
Yeah.
You know, I guess maybe people are watching it.
And and like I said, I kind of feel like, I mean, it's really ambitious, and I really kind of like admired what they did. Like I admired they were just kind of like, we're just gonna make the weirdest fucking movie ever. Like throw that in there too.
It didn't really have a coherent story. It was just scenes of trippy shit happen, and it's kind of tied together.
It kind of has a story.
Yeah.
Turkey was not in it as much.
Right.
You know, I kind of, he was still trying to get hold of like the DVD, but then, you know, later the DVD got possessed by his son's soul for whatever reason. So they were trying to get that back. So he was actually in it because he did have a goal in it, but most of the main stuff was about the Fraggle puppet.
Okay, so you're saying it had a story.
Sort of. Well,
I really couldn't follow it.
Well, it had a story in the sense that a couple of the characters did have like a goal. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You forget all that though.
You do. That's what I mean, because it just kind of go. Oh, and I forgot to mention too. I totally forgot this. There's so much stuff going on in this movie, guys, that I totally forgot. One, I forgot to mention that the two colonial guys their dream was to open a theme park called Thanksgiving Land. So there was that. Also, I forgot to mention Wise Turkey, who was this interdimensional. This was very Jim Henson-y, this part. Yeah. This interdimensional like wise turkey that came there like a Gandalf type character, but a turkey.
I kind of forgot about that guy. Yeah.
And he comes there and gives like 5 minutes of exposition about evil turkey, who was like the regular turkey from the first one, and like kind of gives a whole thing, and it was just kind of like this Lord of the Rings like quest kind of thing. This movie, it's all over the place. There's just all kind of like crazy shit in here, and
it's a puppet show. It's supposed to be crazy as fuck.
Yeah, like I said, because pretty much there are 2 human characters, I think. Just the 2 guys, right?
Yeah.
I think everybody else is a puppet.
Yeah, I think so.
A puppet or someone in a costume. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy. Honestly, I think, I don't know, I think people are more kind of like, are more into like that kind of shit nowadays. Because like I said, there's a whole like subculture of just weird, surreal cartoons and shit like that.
I would have liked to have seen these guys who did all this puppetry do a different project that was a little bit more coherent and a little more, you know, something that Jim Henson would actually do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it would be better. I don't think it blended too well with the Thankskilling concept. I would like to see them do their own thing. Like they're, you know, something along the lines of the Labyrinth or some shit like that. They'd probably be pretty good.
Yeah, because it seemed like this wanted to be Labyrinth.
Yeah.
Or the Dark Crystal or something like that.
Right,
but then on acid and also with a killer turkey in it. You know what I mean? So there was a lot of ideas in here.
Yeah.
It is fun. And like I said, the less kind of, I don't know, I was going to like bring up the whole rapping grandma thing again too, but man, that was so gross. That puppet was so gross looking.
Yeah.
And like just like the shit that she said.
Yeah.
And it's like if you watch like toward the video of hers that's after the credits, she had like a wheelchair, and one of the stickers on the wheelchair said "Gilfin ain't easy."
Gilfin ain't easy.
And I was just kind of like, ew. It was so nasty. It's like, it's not that I'm like averse to like old people having sex. Have all sex you want, old people. But that was, and she wasn't a real person. She was a puppet.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just like a really, really disgusting, and just like she says like disgusting shit all the time.
Yeah. She got the oxygen thing on her nose and shit.
Yeah, and it was just like, it's so gross. And it's just like, I don't know, it was just like really gross. But yeah. Somebody says, review Enter the Void. Center for Puppetry Arts in Atlanta is a great place to take your kids. Okay. Troll 2, somebody said. There's a children's cartoon right now called Trolls, and it has a bunch of troll dolls and lots of LSD references. Yeah, I haven't seen the cartoon, but I've seen like clips of it. And didn't they make like a couple movies, I think? Like Trolls World Tour and all that kind of stuff, because I remember seeing trailers for that. But, yeah, so So seriously, these are kind of two completely different movies. So we watched them just one after the other.
If I had a break in between, maybe it would have been...
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's probably better because they're completely different vibes.
Yeah.
So if you're in like kind of like a comedy, horror, slasher, gory, stupid kind of thing, then watch the first one. If you just want to see something that's like one of the most bizarre fucking things you've ever seen and you just want to like get high and watch it, then watch Thankskilling 3. You don't really have to watch one after the other because they don't really have much to do with, other than the killer turkey. There's really not much to do with anything. And the second one is like so batshit that it really doesn't have much narrative like through line with the first one. So it's like you don't really have to have like seen either one. But yeah, they're both worth watching if you like
this kind of
bad movies, or if you're like Oscar Perez was saying that we kind of like waste our time on it, but there's, like I said, there's a certain kind of appreciation that I have for really shitty movies. Yeah. But I have to be in the right mood though. You know what I mean? I like everything. I like lowbrow stuff. I like highbrow stuff, but it depends on what mood I'm in. And I don't like all bad movies just for the sake of being bad movies either. Like I said, it has to still be entertaining.
Yeah.
And, and the first one had enough stuff in it that was entertaining. And the second one was just so fucking crazy that I couldn't believe, like, what I was looking at.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of like, I gotta wait and see what happens next, because, okay. Because it was that whole issue, yeah. So, you done talking?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Turkey the 13th.
Yeah. Like I said, first one wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. The second one, I think it had script problems. The coherency of it, for me, it was a little difficult to follow. Had good visuals, though. Certain parts of it were like, oh, come on, a little bit over the top. But that's what this movie was trying to do. It was trying to do that anyway. Although, when it comes to be the king of all bad movies, no, it's still going to be VelociPastor. That one's a fucking masterpiece. And if you haven't seen VelociPastor, I'd recommend seeing that first. See VelociPastor.
I think the thing. I know we bring that movie up a lot, but the thing that makes VelociPastor work too is that VelociPastor is very good natured.
Yeah, it makes it.
And all the characters are kind of like good natured.
Yeah,
I kind of feel like what happens with a lot of bad, like people that make bad movies on purpose, is that they're a little bit like kind of mean spirited, or they're supposed to be like, oh, we're just gonna do like this shocking shit for the sake of shocking. They're trying to be edgelordy.
Yeah, and these movies do that.
Yeah, the first one kind of did do that. Yeah. And the second one did too. Where they're just like trying to see what they can get away with. We're gonna do like the grossest shit, or we're gonna say this shocking shit, or whatever. Which, like I said, can be funny to an extent, but after a while, you're just getting like, oh, were you just being edgelordy? Yeah. I didn't like VelociPastor was not trying to be edgelordy. It was just kind of like a good natured.
Yeah, VelociPastor is a 1980s style kung fu movie about a priest
with a dude and a dinosaur
who can turn into a dinosaur. You just gotta see the shit to understand it, and it makes total fucking sense. It's great. It's a great movie.
Yeah. Pat Hatfield said earlier that he said you're describing what's happening in the movie, and I'm going, what? Yeah, that's pretty much what I was saying too. Like I said, it sounds like I'm making it up, and I'm totally not. I promise. Right. Everything that I said is actually in there.
I think they achieved what they set out to do. It's just not my bag 100%. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, but like I said, I admire their ambition because it was something else. Yeah, and Pat Hatfield also said the grandma characters turned me off the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see why. Like, I get that they were parodying, because remember there was a time, when was this? Was it 90s or 2000s, where like, oh, we're going to put an old person in the movie that raps? Isn't that the funniest thing ever? I kind of feel like they did that in several movies. To the point where it became.
I didn't see those.
Yeah, to the like in comedies, to the point where it's just like, oh yeah, okay, hilarious. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. Because like seen it. So maybe it was funny the first time. I don't even remember who did it the first time, but I kind of feel like then other movies would do it. It's like, look, an old lady rapping. Isn't that hilarious? And so I kind of feel like they were parodying that. So I get that, but I don't know. It was just like, and I get that like people are grossed out by like, old people in sexual situations, and I get that, but I don't know. I just kind of felt like it was pretty fucking gross, like even for me. Like it's a pretty gross character. But I mean, I don't know. There was some funny shit in there, but I don't know. I'm very like, I don't know how I feel about it because it's just like a weird ass movie. I'll probably like watch it again at some point and see how I feel about it. But, you know, there's not a lot of Thanksgiving themed. Oh.
Okay.
Okay. There's not a lot of Thanksgiving themed horror movies out there. So if you want to like, you know, see one, then I also actually I did one for a movie called Pilgrim, which is on Hulu. I think that's the only place you can watch it, but I'm gonna put that up on Thursday. That was actually not bad. I quite enjoyed that a lot. But yeah, so Gramthars Hammer, The Wedding Singer, that was one of them, and I remember liking that movie otherwise, but that trope got like old really fast. Just kind of like those comedies in I guess it was the 2000s, where it's just gonna like, we're gonna have like talking animals. It's a talking cat. It's a talking dog. It's a talking baby. It's ugh. Stop it. Shit's not funny. But all right. So we're gonna go now, and so tomorrow is gonna be our Wednesday night regular episode, doing a Thanksgiving special, all old West ghost stories.
Okay. Yeah.
So if anybody like knows of any that you want me to cover, because I found a fuck ton. There are so many like ghost stories of the Old West. Thank you, Aaron E. Turkey donation. Thankful for all the entertainment. Thanks, thank you so much. But yeah, so if anybody has any Old West ghost stories, like, you know, maybe like send me a message on Facebook or something like that, like before we go on tomorrow, and I'll see if I can put, because I found this really cool website that had like 50 bajillion different Old West ghost stories. So I tried to pick out some, like a good variety of them, but if there's any that you want to hear me talk about, then let me know as soon as possible. But yeah, so we will see you guys again tomorrow evening at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for all of your super chats, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.